Hello friends, in today's video we will be seeing about balancing chemical equations. We know that mass can neither be created nor be destroyed in a chemical reaction. It comes under the law of conservation of mass and hope you remember about it. While balancing the equation, we cannot change the atoms present in the element or compound like this. We can balance the chemical equations by adding a coefficient to the element or a compound like this. I hope you understood about balancing a chemical equation. And now let's try out an example to understand more about it. Now we take this equation, which is Fe plus H2O gives out Fe3O4 plus H2. Now we need to make a column like this, and we need to mention the number of atoms present in each element. Now let's fill out in the reactant side, and there are 1 atom of iron and 2 atoms of hydrogen and 1 atom of oxygen. Coming to products, there are 3 atoms of iron, 2 atoms of hydrogen and 4 atoms of oxygen. It is necessary to start balancing from the element which has more number of atoms. In Fe3O4 compound, oxygen has 4 number of atoms and it is the highest among all. So now let's start balancing from that. In reactants, the number of atoms present in oxygen is 1 and in products it is 4. So we need to balance and get it as 4 in the reactants. So we are multiplying it with 4. And now the number of atoms of oxygen in reactants and products are same and hence it is balanced. Now in reactants, the coefficient of H2O will be 4. Now the coefficient of H2O is 4 and it has to be multiplied with the hydrogen atoms. And we get the number of atoms to be 8. The number of atoms in hydrogen in reactants is 8 and in products it is only 2 and we need to balance them. In product side, we can multiply it with 4 so that it comes as 8 and it is balanced. And iron is left out here and it remains unbalanced. Now let's balance it. The number of atoms in iron in reactants is 1 and in product it is 3. So in reactant side, we will multiply it with 3 so that it would get balanced. The whole equation is balanced and we get 3Fe plus 4H2O gives out 4Fe3O4 plus H2. Now let's balance another equation, which is C6H12O6 plus O2 gives out CO plus H2O. Here we will follow the same rules as we did before. The number of atoms in carbon is 6 and the number of atoms in hydrogen is 12 and the number of atoms in oxygen here is 6 plus 2, which gives out 8. In products, the number of atoms of carbon is 1 and in hydrogen it is 2 and in oxygen it is 2 plus 1, which is 3. Here carbon in reactants has 6 atoms and carbon in product side has only 1 atom. Now let's balance it by multiplying it with 6 and now the number of atoms in carbon in reactants as well as in products is balanced. In products, we need to add 6 as a coefficient of CO2. And the next element is hydrogen. So the number of atoms of hydrogen in reactants is 12 and in product it is only 2. So we can balance them by multiplying it with 6 in the product side. In products, we will add 6 as coefficient of H2O. And balancing the oxygen element in this equation is little bit different. And please do pay your full attention here. In product, we have a compound which is CO2 and it has a coefficient which is 6. This coefficient is not only for the carbon but it is also for oxygen. In oxygen, we already have 2 atoms and we are going to multiply it with the coefficient which is 6 and we get 12. And another product which is formed is H2O and it has a coefficient which is 6 and the coefficient is for both hydrogen and oxygen. And here the oxygen has only one atom and we are going to multiply it with the coefficient which is 6. So by multiplying it we get 6. So the total number of atoms here would be 12 plus 6 which will be 18. Now we go to the reactants part and we have C6H12O6 and here the number of atoms in oxygen is 6. And then another reactant here is O2 and it has 2 atoms. Now we will multiply the O2 with 6. And don't forget to mention the coefficient of O2. And combining all, we get 6 atoms plus 12 atoms gives out 18. And now the whole equation is balanced. And we get it as C6H12O6 plus 6O2 gives out 6CO2 plus 6H2O.